Hey friends, this week was full of fast flips and long tail sales. I had something sell from 2021 and several things sell from 2022. So in this What Sold video, I'm going to share with you all the details. So hit that like button.
Resale where the deals just shine. Boss ladies on the grind every single time. From victims to new, they got the fashion view. Step into their world, you feel brand new. Got Gucci, got Prada, got everything you crave. Their passion for fashion is what they bravely gave. Resale game strong and the ladies in command.
And if you are new here, my name is Stephanie with 3 Queens Resale. I am a full-time fashion reseller. We sell on Depop, Mercari, eBay, and Poshmark, and do live sales on Whatnot as well. So thank you so much for joining. I'm going to share with you what sold the second week in 2024. So that covers the dates of Sunday, January 8th through Saturday, January 14th. So without further ado, let's hit it. So first up on Sunday, January 8th, there were 6 sales, a nice robust day. So the first item, and I go by platform, so they might have come in different times during the day. So we're going to start with this Poshmark sale over these Uggs mid-calf boots, black size 9. They sold for $32. After the $6.40 in fees, I was left with $25.60. So those have been listed since June 10th. I do buy things out of season, and so those Uggs are no exception. Next was this Lululemon tank, black size 12. Ugg and Lululemon have both cooled in prices. So this tank top, I was happy to get 15 for it. It was a larger size. The larger sizes are what I would pick up. I try to stay away from the smaller sizes. That's just me. But 15 after the $1.20 in fees, I was left with $13.80. That did sell on eBay. And on eBay, I'm figuring my fees at about 20% because my account is still below standard. We are working really hard to get it back up above that. But with eBay, it just requires that the sell ratio, defect ratio is percentages. And when you fall below standard, they don't show your things as much and it's harder to get a sale. So I'm happy with any sales we get on eBay, and we are working really hard to keep our eBay clean, make sure everything on there is available. And if it sells on another platform, pulling it off of eBay quickly so it doesn't sell on there twice. So it is what it is, friends. And then next on Poshmark, I had these Guy Dalwin lace-up snow boots, size 7.5. I did pick these up at the Goodwill outlet back in May. And they're not like a fantastic brand. I just got super excited because they were snow boots. They were in good condition. They were both right there together in the bins. They sold for $18 after the $3.60 in fees. I was left with $14.40. Then on Poshmark, we had these Wolford, the Melina Super High Rise Vegan Leather Pants, size 6. There's currently a case opened on these for fit. I do not respond to cases on Poshmark. I just let them put whatever they want to in the description and let Poshmark sort it out. Most of the time, Poshmark sides in their favor because I don't put up any defense, but I don't want to use my mental energy to do that. I'm like, if you're not happy with it, send it back and I'll relist it. So those sold for $40, $8 in fees, and $32 is the profit. And those have been listed since November 3rd. Next up, Poshmark were these acid wash black denim jeans, and I did get a 5-star rating on these. They have been listed since November 14th, and those are maternity jeans, size 18. They sold for $18, and after the $3.60 in fees, I was left with $14.40. And finally, on Mercari, we had this American Eagle coat, size medium. It was a hooded lined utility coat. It had been listed since January 21st of 2023. So almost a year ago. And it sold for $27. After the $4.21 in fees, I was left with $22.79, bringing our profit for those 6 items to $122.99. On Monday, we had 3 sales, and none of them were on Poshmark. So here we go. The first on eBay sale was this Aloe Yoga Rib Knit tank top, and I had 2 of these. One sold like within a day of listing, and the other one, this cream color, took a little longer to sell. It was listed January 4th. It sold on January 9th. It sold for $20. After the $4 in fees, I was left with 16. Next up, we had this Pure Jill sweater, size 1X. It was like a blue V-neck, like dolman sleeve, like knit tunic. It sold on eBay. It had been listed since June 17th of 2023. It sold for $18. After the $3.60 in fees, I was left with $14.40. And then we had a Depop sale on Monday. This was an LA Blues denim mini skirt. It sold for $12. After the $2.30 in fees, I was left with $9.66. So for those 3 items, the grand total for Monday was $40.06. Next up is Tuesday, January 10th. We had 4 sales. And the first sale was on Poshmark. It was these Kugel Barrel Ugg ankle boot size 8. The Kugel Barrel Uggs do not go for as much as the regular Uggs do, but these were in excellent pre-owned condition, and so I picked them up at the Goodwill outlet. Our outlet is $1.79 a pound, so for me that averages out in my hauls to about $1 a pound or $1 an item. So I picked these up and they sold for $24. After the $4.80 in fees and the $2.02 shipping discount, I was left with $17.18. Those have been listed since November 20th. Next up was this Modoc knit top, maroon, size medium. It sold on eBay, and it sold for $17. After the $3.40 in fees, I was left with $13.60, and that had been listed since November 17th. This Dell of Norway sweater, which I did pick up at the bins, it's a success story. There are all kinds of lessons learned from this sweater. First of all, it did sell on Depop for $74. It had been listed since May 25th of 2023. Like I mentioned, I do pick up items regardless of season and go ahead and list them, and they will eventually sell. So I was super excited. These sweaters sell for over $200. So I was excited to find this one, and I did have it listed for much more, but I'm running a big sale on Depop. So $74, I think, is like 50% off. So that's where we are. And then, but what I learned, because I paid $17.82 in fees. This item was boosted, and so because it was boosted, I had to pay a fee for that, and then all the Depop fees. So all the fees came to $17.82, which is like like a knife to my heart, leaving me with $57.53. So what I've learned from this situation is that I don't want to boost things on Depop that are special, unique. I'm only going to boost bread and butter items because this sweater was going to sell regardless. It would have sold at the 75% off or the 50% off price that I had, and then I didn't have to pay additional for fees for the boosting. So lesson learned, I will have to watch more carefully, but I'm still super excited with the return on investment. Like I said, I did pick it up at the Goodwill outlet, and so I don't have that much into it, less than $2. Next on Depop were these LL Bean men's pants. They have been listed since January 4th. So only 6 days. They sold for my full asking price of $35 after the $5.27 in fees. I was left with $29.63, bringing our Tuesday total to $117.94. Wednesday, January 11th was a zero sales day, the first zero sales day of the year. Last year, we had less than 5 zero sales days the whole we had 6 zero sales day the whole year, so about one every other month. So let's hope that this is not starting off on a bad trend. Moving on to Thursday, January 20th. This was the big day. I don't know if I got scared about Wednesday, but I sent out likers to offers on Poshmark. And so we had 9 sales and 8 of them were on Poshmark. So here we go. The first were these Cole Haan nude heels, size 8.5. They were listed since January 10th of 2022. They sold for $24 after the $4.80 in fees and the $2.02 shipping discount. I was left with $17.18. Next up, we had this All Saints sweater dress black. It had been listed since December 12th of 2022. I told you guys we had some oldie goldies here going out. It sold for $20 after the $4 in fees. I was left with $16. Next up, we had these Urban Outfitters wide leg pant medium. They have been listed since August 10th. And they sold for $16 after the $3.20 in fees. I was left with $20.80. I'm on the fence about Urban Outfitters. I do source primarily at the Goodwill outlet, so your girl's got to take what she can get. But I'm really trying to find those brands that will command $20 or more. Next up, this was also Ben's find, was this vintage men's polo button front denim shirt. It had been listed since January 2nd, so for 10 days. It sold for $60 and it did sell on likers to offer or offers to likers, so it was 30% off plus a shipping discount. So it sold for $60 after the $12 in fees and the $2.02 shipping discount. I was left with $45.98, not bad for a $1.79 investment. Next up on Poshmark was this Nike Heritage 86 University of Illinois baseball cap. This had been listed since July 27th of 23. It sold for $11 after the $2.95 in fees and the $2.02 shipping discount. I was left with $6.03 and that one was free. My good friend Wendy, her daughter went to the University of Illinois and was on the gymnastics team. So she had a lot of swag, and throughout the past 3 years of my reselling business, as she cleans out and finds things, she always donates those items to me. And I am so grateful for her free Nike contributions to my closet. Next up were these A Goldie women's jeans, size 25. They had been listed since February 19th of 23. They sold for $25 after the $5 in fees. I was left with $20. Next was this pole knit sweater, cream size large. It's really cute, like boho aesthetic with this fringe detail. It sold for $12 after the $2.95 in fees and the $2.02 shipping discount. I was left with $7.03, and that had been listed since March 20th. Next up were these White House Black Market knit sweater. White House Black Market is really expensive retail, but does not go for a whole bunch on the resale market. And so I still do pick it up at the Goodwill outlet because it is so expensive retail. You can get something for it, but it's not as much as I would like. And I'd had this since 2022. So this had been listed since October 13th of 2022. It sold for $18 after the $3.60 in fees and the $2.02 shipping discount. I was left with $12.38. And then finally, this Orale Winter Long Puffer coat, black size medium, sold on Mercari for $43 after the $6.40 in fees. I was left with $36.60, and that had been listed since February 5th of 2022. So on this day, I had a great clear out day. I cleared out 4 things that were from 2022. And if you want to know how I'm so easily able to track these, I do use List Perfectly, so I can go back and look at the date that the listing was created, and I can also look at the dates of which it was edited. So if I go in and edit them and delist and relist, it will update the date. So if you want to try List Perfectly, I also use it to cross list to the different platforms. I'll link a video up above of me using List Perfectly and showing you how I use it in my reseller business. You will get 30% off if you use my code 3QueensResale. It is down in the description. So give it a try and you will make your money back in a month. So if you're not cross-listing, consider cross-listing and using List Perfectly. And it's just an easy way to manage your inventory. Next up, Friday, January 13th. So Friday the 13th, we had 6 sales. 5 of them were on Poshmark and 1 on Mercari. So the oldest sale of the week were these Johnston and Murphy McLean lace-up shoes, size 9.5. These were a lace-up Oxford. They had been listed since November 26th of 2021. They sold for $22, and after the $4.40 in fees, I was left with $17.60. If you're not familiar, I have a large inventory space, so I can hold things for a long time because we have a lot of space in our basement to do so. So I am a true believer of relisting and delisting. I am currently starting this year going through a process in which I revisit items each month a year out. So all the items that were listed in January of last year, 2023, 2022, and 2021, that's the farthest we have documented on List Perfectly. So if it's before that, it's probably either sold or we've pulled it and it's been relisted and rephotographed. But I am going through the items that were initiated in January and deciding, do we want to keep them listed? Like the listing's fine, we're just going to toe the line. Do we want to pull it and redo it from scratch? Like maybe it needs like new photos, like spruce it up, edit the listing. And with the ones from 2023, I am going back and adding tags because I didn't do tags back a year ago. So I am going back and adding tags. But in some of them, I have pulled them and I've decided that we want to just relist it, like take photos again. Some items I have discovered are only listed, like they're not listed on eBay or all the platforms. So I'm getting them listed to all 4 of the platforms we sell on. And the last option is to pull it. It's not something we want to sell anymore online, a brand that we want to sell, and then to pull it and put it in my Whatnot auctions. So you will be able to get some great deals in my Whatnot auctions on all kinds of brands. So make sure you click the link below to sign up for Whatnot for $15, 10 or 15. I cannot keep up. It is so cold in here. I got to put my lap blanket on like an old lady here. But moving on, I digress. That was an oldie but a goldie, but consider using List Perfectly. Next up was this Michael Kors tennis shoe It had been listed since November 20th of 23, sold for $15. After the $3 in fees, I was left with 12. And for those of you who really care, it was a size 7. I know some of you really want me to say the sizes, and sometimes I forget, but I do have them written all down here. Next up was this Amar Vert red knit sweater. It sold in it had been listed since March 24th of 2023. It sold for $22, and after the $4.40 in fees and the $2.02 shipping discount, I was left with $15.58. And then next up we had this Anthropologie Sparrow wool blend knit sweater dress. It was a size extra small, and honestly, I'm super excited to see this go. It had been listed since December 13th of 2022. It sold for $21 after the $4.20 in fees. I was left with $16.80. Anthropologie does not command as much as it used to, but I'm still going to pick it up because I source at the bins and I never know which pieces are those like rare, like crazy one-off pieces. And so I guess I could like do a Google lens search at the Goodwill outlet, but I have to do that on so many other brands that I know nothing about. And I do know that Anthropologie will eventually sell. Next up was this adorable Charter Club sweater with a heart pattern, perfect for upcoming Valentine's Day. It had been listed since June 30th of 23. It sold for $13 after the $2.95 in fees. I was left with $10.05. And then our one Mercari sale for the day were these Croc double strap sandals, size 8, black. They sold for $21 after the $3.42 in fees. I was left with $17.58, bringing our total for Friday to $89.61. Moving on to Saturday, January 14th, our last day of the week, I had 4 sales, and I was out of town Thursday, Friday, Saturday of this week. I was at the National Collegiate Cheerleading Competition in Florida, where my oldest daughter right here was competing with Indiana University, where they brought home the bronze. They came in 3rd place, and I am super proud of her. But because I was out of town and just super busy, like supporting her, I didn't get to list and I wasn't paying attention to offers as much as I normally do. So my husband kind of jumped in and took over, and I think he took some offers that I probably would not have, but that's okay. So here we go. The first up is this Evolve Easy Spirit Wedge Boot Black size 10. It sold for $15, and after the $3 in fees, I was left with 12. Those have been listed since November 20th of 23. Next up was an item from my personal closet, these Nike Internationalist Psychedelic tennis shoes, and they were a size 9. They sold for $25. After the $5 in fees, I was left with 20, and they have been listed since June 10th. Next up was this Born Black Clog, size 8. This is when I talk about offers I might not have accepted this in the Easy Spirits, but my husband took an offer for $14 after the $2.95 fee. I was left with $11.05. Those have been listed since May 29th of 2023. And our final sale of the week was on eBay. I am super lenient on eBay right now as we're working on getting out of that, getting more sales so we can climb out of below standard. Were these Michael Kors Izzy skinny jeans size 6. They sold for $10 after the $2 in fees. I was left with 8. And for those items, our total came to $51.05. Now let's look at the numbers for the week. So there are 3 matrix in which I use to kind of chart my progress, actually 4. And so the first one is the average sale price. So my goal for average sale price is $20. So our average sale price for this week was $18.61. Let me look at our post-its from last week, which last week the average sale price was $21.87. So we dropped a little this week in average sale price, but we're still at 93% of the goal. The next metric is the number of items sold. So that I'm going for 50 items sold, and we had 32 this week and 25 last week. So this week we are within 64% of our goal, and we are continuing to improve in that category. The next matrix is the dollar amount. I'd like to have $1,000, and this week we were at $635.55. That is down from last week, which was $661.64. So this week we are at 63.5% of our goal. And then my other matrix that I have for myself is how many items I actually get listed across the 4 platforms. This does not include delist and relist. And the numbers above that I share with you are minus all fees and discounts. That is the amount that we actually get to bring home. It does not take into account cost of goods, but all other fees have been accounted for. So my goal for listings is that I would like to list 250 items a week. We listed 35, so we are like at 15% of our goal. For the year, or for the month, we are at 141 listings, and for the year, we are at 141 listings. So we're going to keep trudging on. My action plan for this week is to list, and then list some more. I am spending Whatnot until I can figure out how to get 250 items listed in a week. That is what I really want to drive my business this year, is listing on the platforms. So sourcing and listing good quality items and putting those systems in place so that I can churn out those listings and have a high volume is my goal. And right now, Whatnot would be, it distracts from that because it takes a lot to ship Whatnot and do all that. And so we are going to come back to Whatnot, but I am really focused on getting this system, these systems in place for our resale business, and then I'll double back and like incorporate Whatnot in where it fits. So our listings by platform, we had Poshmark with $364.45. That is 20 items. And then Mercari, we had 3 items, $76.97. eBay, we sold 5 items for a total of $65.80. And then Depop, we sold 3 items for a total of $96.82. Whatnot, we had the one show that made money, and it was $40.30. So the breakout by days of the week, Wednesday was a 0 sales day. And then with the busiest day or most profitable day was $174 on Thursday. So we are chugging along, friends. If you like What Sold videos, please be sure to give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And if there is more information that you would like me to include in my What Sold videos, please leave that in the comments and I will consider incorporating it in our next video. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one.
3 queens, Resale, where the deals just shine. Boss ladies on the grind every single time. From victims to new, they got the fashion view. Step into their world, you feel brand new. Got Gucci, got Prada, got everything you crave. Their passion for fashion is what they bravely gave. Resale getting strong and the ladies in command. 3 queens, Resale, taking over the land.